Hey Collective, it's Al and welcome back to Altruistic channel. Today's video is going to be dedicated towards life expression and the truth of our journey. And what I wanted to focus our energy on was what it means to be a dreamer, what it is to be someone that people might consider a visionary, or someone who has big dreams that are far out of their reach, but who still manage to have the strength to go after their convictions. As many of you know, I am really a big believer in never accepting scraps or never accepting being told that something isn't possible. I'm a believer that everything is possible and we can make it probable if we just learn to work together. But one of the things that I've noticed with big dreamers is how lonely it can be. And not speaking necessarily for myself, because I'm at a place now where I'm actually a little bit more comfortable at times by myself. But I've learned that we don't speak enough about the bravery it takes for people who are from different backgrounds to truly achieve what it is the divine universe wants for them. And one of the things I'd spoken to in yesterday's video, which I think is 2 days from now, I'm taping it in a series, and one day I do a taping day. But one of the things I was speaking to is the vulnerability that it takes to be a person who lives in a spiritual centered way. But I wanted to extend that today to the vulnerability that it takes to be open to be ridiculed and to go after your dreams anyway. One of the things that I've learned on this journey, if you will, this spiritual journey that I've been on for the past year and a half, where I had to go and earn my stripes, as it were, to deal with humanitarian causes and something that's near and dear to my heart, which is now this show that I'm trying to get picked up and put onto the air. And I'm doing it in a new way because I realize that the old ways just seems to be collapsing around us. But anyway, going to the point of the story is I noticed how lonely it can be. People would rather you fail, unfortunately, in the world than they would rather see you succeed. And so one of the greatest avenues for this particular program or this particular way of thinking that I have is that I'd much rather fail at my truth and at trying for something that is out of my reach than to never try at all and to let life pass me by. Right now, one of the strains that we are going through as a collective is that we are literally stuck, or at least feeling like we're trapped in a state where we can't move, we can't make decisions for ourselves. And it's leading to a lot of friction that we could dissipate if we just banded together. But instead of focusing on that, I just wanted to talk about imagination and about dreaming. This academy, if you will, that we call Earth, is all about creativity. It's about creation. It's learning how your soul will choose to operate within a physical world in order to understand the weight of its choices. But one of the greatest blessings, something that all human beings have that they can do, is that they can dream and create. And I find that to be incredibly important to us right now. So what I wanted to say to those of you out there who are like me, who are just going for the gold, it's not over yet. Life is still very much in action, and we are still very much alive. And our souls are trying desperately to connect with other souls that are willing to actually go the distance. And one of the best ways to do it is to understand what it is to be a creator. After all, we all tend to believe, not everybody, but most people believe in a higher power, the greatest architect of all time. Even if you believe in ancient aliens creating humanity, it's still somebody created them. So no matter how we splice that, everybody believes in a creator. And one of the things we can best do, in my personal opinion, in order to honor that energy, whatever you call it, is to ourselves create. So I have this thing where every day, no matter what, no matter how I'm feeling, I try to put out at least one video, either on this channel at Altruistic channel, or I focus on Altruistic channel's Arabalo, where I can be a little bit naughtier and kind of, go the distance as far as my humor, because it's sorted. I'm a little bit of a little wonky sometimes, but I enjoy that about me. But I have put a separation between the two. But my point is, every day I try to focus on my attitude of gratitude, but I give myself enough breathing room to feel myself and feel the negative aspects to myself in order to bring true creation out of it. My personal path has been one that's been a little bit difficult, but through the struggle, I've not only come out of it feeling stronger, but I've come out of it more appreciative of the smallest of things. I always talk about flowers. Today I went and I picked out trees that I want for my garden. Once the soul kicks up and goes, an extra visualization that doesn't focus on materialism but focuses on having a little bit of land where I have kids that I want to have, and each of them gets a garden. So today I spent the day visualizing what their gardens would look like, and I found a new tree that I'm in love with for my firstborn, for my daughter. And it was a way of connecting to source in a way that maybe we don't normally understand. And I know it's a little eccentric, but instead of focusing on the materialistic side of it, I decide to focus on what's already created and take joy in each thing and bring it into my world in any way I can, in a realistic way. I dream really big. I have somebody that I have a huge crush on, and I put it out there, and I have this huge dream about bringing the world together and uniting us in a humanitarian effort that really deals with the controversial, and I'm willing to go the distance. So what I can do in everyday life is find the beauty of the grand architect that represents joy for me and bring it into my life when it's time to do it. And I thought that would be a really rewarding experience for you all to hear about, which is, when you have, I've said it before, when you have like a little patch of heaven that you call home, even if you're mortgaged up the butt and going through it right now, it's your little heaven. And so why not take the opportunity to create the beauty of it and purchase a plant, purchase something that brings, like, pick out a color scheme, make sure that color scheme is all yours. So we are all not doing anything right now. Everybody's so terrified to go out and do anything per se, that why not take the time to, I don't know, paint your front of the house. Do something that, go get a paint by numbers thing and see if it inspires you to do something creative. Go and read the Bible and find the things that uplift you, not the things that are like, oh, you can't do this, blah, blah. Don't look at the negative, look at the positive, and go and rejoice in that. Take that, whatever springs to your mind when you read those uplifting passages, and remember the grand architect has given you an entire playground to go and look at. You don't have to spend money. It doesn't have to cost you anything. That's one of the greatest blessings I've had on this journey, is the fact that I've learned that it doesn't cost me anything to go here in California to the beach. I can go and literally, look at my tan. I find it to be quite beautiful. Other people are like, worried about skin cancer. I'm like, we can't even, we might die from a virus right now, so I'm really not really all that interested in people worried about my skin cancer. You can die from moonbeams, according to any, depending on where you go, there's always a way to be negative. But why not focus on the joy of life and be a creator? Create something abstract. Do something paint by numbers. Go out and speak to someone that you think is eccentric but that catches your eye and you're fascinated by it. You might even be a little scared of them, but find out what is it that the divine is trying to hand you in that experience. And take from that experience something that you can create. I remember I was listening, I can't remember who the person was, but they were talking about how they decided to become a children's author, and they had done it because they were reading their kids a bedtime story or whatnot, and they thought, well, I can do a little better than this. And they created an empire. See how simple that the creation was? And it honors the divine. It honors the greatest blessing that we have, which is our grand creator. Whatever you believe in, even if you're atheist, then go do something scientific. Go create a solution to all of this bullshit that's going around the world right now, and be willing to stand the test of time. That's one of the great things about this whole endeavor that I'm on right now, about the turquoise leadership in this program that talks about legacy, is that I think it would be a brilliant idea to bring together a panel of people, specifically for people who invest in the show, who want to literally do an idea and share it with the world in a way that they know that we're going to nurture them because we're partners to some degree, but we're going to poke the hell hole. So we're going to hole after hole after hole, and we're going to go, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? Because what it does is that it gives love back to the creator. Whoever is creating the solution or whatever the product is will know that we're coming at this in a nurturing way. They're not being attacked. But if they can stand up to all of our questions, then guess what happens to that? Not only is the entire world watching it and purchase the item or whatever it is, or endeavors to find it as a solution for a big problem, but they were invested in the process. And it's not like a money scheme. It's like literally something that could be humanitarian efforts. Somebody who has a really, really amazing idea of how to end global warming that really has the balls to come up in front of a group of people who want them to succeed, but is willing to go, that doesn't make sense. Answer me this question. And then be willing to go back and forth, because then the person and the entity that has the balls to do it not only has an actual demographic built into it that will be successful because they were already involved, but they will have the panel who finally go, that sounds good. Imagine what that change would do. And that is creation. That is the collective consciousness. But that's part of the show. I'm still doing my best with that. And it'll happen when it's meant to happen. But what I do every day is I do that thing with the trees. And I just have this thing where if I want to have something in my life, I ground the energy because I have such big dreams, and I have such big, the divine has something really big in mind for my life. And as I wait for other parts of it to fit in together, I don't just waste my time. I don't just like get all frustrated. I go out and I find things that are real 3D, real world stuff that anchor an image in my head where I see a house with a big land. It doesn't have to be a big house because I'm very humble, but that has a lot of property because I want to build the gardens for when a year from now, when the firstborn hopefully comes forth, and I want to give them that. As they grow, so will their garden, and each of them will have a garden, and I have a garden already picked out for my husband. As far as, but I need to like actually get to know the intricacies there. But that's creation. That is something that the divine blesses every day that I walk. It's something that I'm encouraged to do from my inner voice that says, go and find beauty. I know that you're exhausted from walking all over creation, but a lot of the best ideas that I have and what I bring to the table comes to me during these walks. It's something where we connect to nature, and nature is trying to love us in a time frame when we're afraid of nature, but yet we're not willing to take responsibility. So through the means of imagination, I choose to make a better world. I choose to focus my energy on what will bring us together as opposed to apart. I try to focus on the positives and instead of the negatives to everything that I've had an obstacle with. And I try to bring that to the table because I believe that in order to create unity, you must first address all of the adversity. And when you do that and you come from a good place, when your heart is out on the table and when you're willing to put your money where your mouth is, then you have touched into something cosmic. You're part of the universal design. You're not just a soul. You're now a creator. And what you create into this world is now going to be paramount for your successes as we go forward. The world's not getting larger, it's getting smaller. What do you want to be known for? I really want to be known for this show. I really want to be known for bringing the world together. I want to be known for all of the charities that I have to build. I want to be known for the legacy I'm going to build with a school program that's going to be for gifted and autistic children. I want to investigate in autism. I want to really get in there and ask questions that people don't want to answer because I want the universe and the world to know that we are taking accountability and that we're at least asking. That's a creator. That's something that we can all banter and endorse. It's something that we banter. I guess we would banter about it, is what I'm trying to say, but we also want to endorse it. There's an entire empire here that I'm sitting on that's kind of funny because all it takes is actually me not having to do much other than just talk to people one-on-one or even on the phone. Tell them, because I have the entire thing here. I have all of the episodes already put out, and I already understand what the show Bible is and the one-pager thing, the log line and all that. I already learned all that. And that's all ready to go. But instead of wasting my time and sitting there going, well, the doors aren't open, it's too hard, life is too hard. Well, no. I understand and I'm grateful, like we posted in the last video. I'm very grateful for my life, but I'm also willing to explore the harder parts of it because I have this philosophy, dig deeper. We've got to learn to dig deeper if we want to make it out of this. We have an opportunity here to unite our planet in a way that has never been seen and in some of the sweetest ways in the world. I had a really wonderful moment with Drew Barrymore, who I've never met before in my life, but I spoke to it in the last video. And it was because her truth came through so genuinely and from such a gentle soul that it just brought me into her world. That's power. That's a creator. That's somebody who's in tune with nature. And we're so indoctrinated to believe that to be vulnerable is a weakness. But as you can see, the strength of one's convictions that is not built on truth is all falling around us. And now we have an opportunity as a race to focus our energies on people who are willing to be vulnerable because we hear ourselves. And when you hear yourself in someone else's mouth, then you actually connect with them in a way that brings you together. And what is that called? Unity. And it starts with imagination. A little bit of creation goes a long way. So spend your day, if I was you, just going out and looking at the different colors of things and asking yourself, if I had my dream home, would I invest back in what God has given me and bring the colors of the rainbow? Because etherically I'm known as the Rainbow Connection, because I believe that all brilliant minds that come through this avenue that I'm building here are rainbows. And I believe that in my childhood song, my theme song is Rainbow Connection since I was a kid. More than you probably needed to know. But I choose to live that life, and I choose to bring those rainbows together and create something quite magnificent a butterfly, if you will, that no one has ever seen before. And I choose to live my life in creation, whereas opposed to feeling victimized. And yeah, things have been really shitty sometimes. But look at what I'm creating. From the darkest of shadows, I am determined to bring light. And I think that we can unite on that. And so, as much as I sit there and get a little woe is me sometimes, because it's a little hard. I mentioned yesterday that there's stuff going on in my environment that it's a little bit cumbersome. But I've released the pressure of feeling like I can't speak about it. Because you can't express the truth of you if you're hiding behind the fact that you feel trapped. I don't feel trapped anymore. But I had to go through imagination, and I had to step into the role of what God wants for me truly, and what God wants for us truly. And that's beauty, love, and harmony. There's a balance that needs to happen, and believe it or not, I'm one of the change agents. And I'm grateful for that. But I choose to create everyday beauty and harmony. And I'm looking for people who want to invest in that. And I think that's a bigger blessing than any hurdle that I've come into. But it all starts with creating your own environment. And that's what I'm working on now. But I just wanted to share that with you all. I think that's a wonderful place to stop for today. I hope you guys are blessed and have a wonderfully amazing day.